Hello, how are you? My remastered monthly reset routine is not your typical reset routine that you could find in the majority of the videos out there. I designed this routine specifically to help me up-level my life and to build a better future for myself. It's also not your typical productive routine either. What I'm trying to accomplish by having this type of routine is first have a clear picture of where I am right now in life and what I need to change. Second is to see what I can do to improve some of the areas in my life that I'm actively working on. The third is to be in check with my feelings and emotions and to raise my vibration. Fourth is to refocus my attention. And fifth is to ground myself. Honestly, with any type of reset that I have ever done, I always start with reflection. I do tend to focus on two main categories that are my accomplishments for the month and the challenges. I do have two main accomplishments for May that I'm very happy about. The first thing first is I have a lot of goals in my career working as a headhunter. It's a very fast-paced, very competitive environment, and I do have strict set goals for myself. I definitely feel like last month I over-delivered because I had 4 people that I connected with the right opportunities, and in the recruitment world it's called placement. So I placed 4 people at certain jobs in project management, construction management, supply chain in general, and it just makes me feel so good because not only this type of job scratches my itch for, being competitive, doing work fast and being strategic, but also I do love the whole concept of helping people find the right opportunities, because oftentimes when candidates apply themselves, their resume can get lost. The person from HR can forget to look at it, can forget to call. There are so many things that can happen with the resume that has nothing to do with the person's experience. And I love to have this leverage and this influence to take this resume and to help the person get an interview and then potentially get a job. And the second accomplishment in May was more on the hobby side. Maybe if you've seen my previous videos, you know that I am a part of a book club with my boyfriend's sisters, and we decided to take a step up and we created a YouTube channel dedicated to the book club discussions, unboxing, reviews, unpopular opinions, all that fun stuff that we called Morally Great Please, because all 3 of us love morally great characters. We created a channel, we created some art that's still in the process of developing, but still it's already been a lot of work. We created our first video, we edited it, we published it, and we enjoyed the heck out of recording that video as well. So I do consider it a pretty great achievement for me. Then on the challenges side, I do have quite a few challenges that I came across in May. The first one is a challenge / limiting belief, and it actually concerns money. My main goal is to up-level my relationship with money and up-level my money flow. And I noticed that when I do have certain tasks that have to do with money, I put them on hold. I feel very nervous doing that. I feel very nervous to do certain payments, especially if it's the mortgage payment or just things like this. I feel uncomfortable. I operate from a scarcity mindset. I just feel bad letting the money go. It got to the point where I received a check from my former landlord with the return of the deposit for the first month of the rent payment. And I didn't deposit it right away. I kept postponing it, and eventually I lost it. And I found it in the recycling bin. This kind of summarizes my relationship with money. I'm scared to have any sort of good relationship with money. Like, why wouldn't I deposit this check right away? So I decided to step up this game too and to just be more open, to doing payments, to receiving money, to engage with money more. And my second challenge for the month concerns my job. As I mentioned, it is very competitive environment. And it's not so much competitive within the team, it is competitive in regards to other recruitment agencies that are out there that are placing the same people, the same skill set. And sometimes I do let this comparison get to me. I should just focus on my job and do the best that I can and not let it influence the way that I think about myself as a professional. And the third challenge is related again to my career, And this is the fact that I have had time appreciating other people's success and appreciating other people's results when it concerns me. When someone has placed a person to an opportunity that I have been working on,
only I contacted a candidate first and blah blah blah.
I don't have the strengths in me to be happy for my colleague, and I feel like this is something that I should be working on too. I want to be happy for the people who I work with. I want to try to be less competitive within the team and to be more supportive, because at the end of the day, we are working for one and the same company and we want this company to succeed. So these are pretty much all the challenges that I went through in the month of May. After I figured out what my accomplishments are and what my challenges are, I jump into setting up the theme for the month to come. And the theme for the month for me combines the feelings that I want to experience and also the intentions. I have determined the main feelings for my life a long time ago. These are the feelings that I want to experience no matter what I do, no matter what period of time it is, no matter what challenges I have in life. I always want to feel easy, balanced, and excited. As for excitement, it's something that just comes easy to me. I'm in general a very easily excited person. Anything can make me excited. If it's a new book that's coming out, I'm excited. If it's a new TV show, I'm excited. If it's a new video game that we're starting with my partner, I'm excited. If I'm going out for lunch with my coworkers to get some sushi, I'm excited. Like, it's very easy for me to get excited about things, and I feel like I have cultivated this feeling since I was very young, and I was doing it subconsciously. In general, every day that I wake up, I feel excited about at least something. As for balanced, this is something that I started consciously working on since May, and this is putting the time aside for rest. It is the weekend. My job and my life in general is so fast-paced that I do need the time, the days when I'm very slow and I don't do anything that is associated with work for me. I can do some fun things, like I can do some video editing for like our book club channel or things like this that are still fun, but I do not work. I don't clean, I don't do laundry, I don't do anything around the house. I do everything during the week. I step into the weekend with the intention of resting and relaxing, enjoying the time, spending time with my partner, doing fun things. That's what helps me personally be more balanced in life. Balance is not living this high vibe life where everything goes smooth and in a flow. Balance is being able to navigate life through ups and downs, but still take your mental state in mind and always focus on how you feel first. As for easy, that's where I do need to work on, because I have so many projects that I'm working on in my everyday life. I do tend to put a lot of energy in those projects, stress myself out, and eventually deplete myself of this energy. The next month, I am going to try to be a little bit more lighthearted and to delegate certain things to other people. I feel like that will be very, very beneficial for me, for my mental health. Now, the next thing that I do has everything and anything to do with goals. I have 5 categories of goals that I love to focus on. The top ones being the high priority, and then the rest are not less important, but not the main priority of my focus, because I tend to be someone who does need to have a specific focus. I can't focus on too many things at the same time. My first category of goals is career goals, and I'm a very career-oriented person. I love corporate environment, and as a headhunter, I do want to have 2 placements next month. This is what I'm targeting. I never target more than 2. If it's more than 2, it's great, but I do comfortably love to have 2 placements. And something that I really struggle with is answer the emails right away, because I might look at the emails and see that they're not super important, but for the people who send these emails, they probably are waiting to hear back from me sooner than later. And sometimes I do postpone replying to the emails till next day, and this is something that I'm working on. I try to have my inbox clear by the end of the workday. The next category of goals that I have is financial goals, and for June I want to save an X amount, and also I have a goal to not purchase anything, to not purchase clothing, to not purchase shoes, any accessories. I just want to save in June as much as I can. The next goal that I have is personal development, and I do tend to be someone who takes a lot of classes and webinars on different personal development topics, on setting your boundaries, determining your value, finding your purpose. And I'm currently on a very cool class that is helping people find their purpose. And I do enjoy it a lot, and this is something I want to continue. I think I am somewhere in the middle of it, so I really want to finish it in the month of June. Then another goal in personal development that I have is to try to read a little bit more personal development books, and I am right now on Letting Go, The Pathway to Surrender by Dr. David Hawkins, and I do like it a lot. Like, it does teach you how to process your emotions, how to let things go, how to process these feelings in your body, but I find it to have a very scientific language that's a little bit hard for me to process at times. So I do want to get back to this book and hopefully finish this book in June. And another goal that I have is to have one therapy session in June. I've been really bad at not doing any therapy in the past month, and this is something that always helps me a lot with my mental health, with just in general my regular day-to-day life, overcoming stress and anxiety. Moving on to health goals. I don't have too many health goals because I feel like I've been really good at eating the last couple of months. I did try to cut a little bit down on sugar because I do love me some chocolate, but for the month of June, I'm planning to pretty much spend a little bit more time outside, and this is hiking. That we used to do a lot of hiking. I don't know why that changed. Maybe because the gas prices went really high here in Vancouver, or just maybe we got tired of it, but we used to go on lots of hikes and we don't do that anymore. So I want to incorporate hikes back into our routine. And the second thing is walking. I want to go for walks after dinner. I feel like it's just so nice. The air is nice, the weather is amazing right now, and walking in general just helps me reset a little bit better. And then the last but certainly not the least, I have the goals that are in the category of love and connection. And one of them we have already started by the time you're watching this video, and this is to start a video game together with my partner. This is something we love doing. This is our hobby together. We are sharing this interest, and whenever we find ourselves sharing an interest, we love to do it, to implement it into our routine. And so on the weekends we do play video games together, and we just started playing Gears of War 3. That's been amazing so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's a co-op game. We are on one team. We are not competing against each other, so it's been super fun. And the second thing is going out, not just picking up meals to go, but specifically going out with the intention of spending time together and having a date. And finally, I would like to speak about one of the most important parts of my research routine, and this is rest and hobbies. And as you could probably tell, one of my biggest hobbies is reading. I have a reading tracker in Notion where I keep track of all the books that I read in the previous month and in general in a year. I have a soft goal of reading 100 books a year. As of right now, I have read 44 books. And by the end of the month, I love to go back and see how many books I actually liked, how many of the books I gave 5 stars or 4 stars. I feel like it's so fun to keep track of that. It's one of my most favorite things to do. I'm gonna go real fast over the books that I have read in the month of May. In the month of May, I read 9 books. I started the month with a series of novellas by Sarah J. Maas, and this is The Assassin's Blade. It's 5 novellas that are the prequel to the first book in the series, Throne of Glass. And I have to say that I DNF'd this book, this novellas. And there is nothing against the series in general. The adventures of her as being an assassin and going on the trips and on the missions isn't something that I love. I love the series for all the other reasons, including like a slow burn romance and the character development and the world building and the magic, and her being an assassin does not add anything for me to the series. But there was a really fast redemption after that. I started another novella that was an absolute perfection in my opinion, and this is Six Scorched Roses by Chrissy Broadbent, and this is the novella in the series of The Crown of Nyaxia. And the novella follows the first book, that is The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and I enjoyed this book so much. I think I gave this book 4.5 stars. It was super good. It was so interesting, captivating. I love the plot. And Six Scorched Roses is a 5-star. It's a romantic fantasy. The two main characters are Lilith and Vale, and they are just one of the best couples that I have ever encountered in the romantic world of fantasy. Then after that, I moved to The Darker Shade of Magic by V. Schwab. I did not enjoy the writing style. I didn't like the world. There is nothing in that book for me to make me want to read the second book in the series. So I decided to put the series down. I gave this book 2 stars and I moved on. The next couple of books that I read were not specifically my type of genre. I read 2 literary fiction books. The first one was Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield, and this book was okay in my opinion. I gave it 3 stars. And the next literary fiction that I read is The Notes on an Execution. This book has a very interesting premise. It tells the story of the serial killer. The majority of the book is told from a perspective of 3 other women that were in his life, one being his mother, that tells the story from past, what happened, how he was growing up, and in general what was happening in their family, the relationship between her and her husband. And then we get the perspective of the police officer, and then we get the perspective of his sister-in-law. It does go really deep into psychological traumas and like different unpleasant situations that were happening in the course of their lives and how they eventually led this person to be who he is. The next book was absolutely outstanding. This book just took over the book community by storm, and if you're someone who's a big reader, you probably know already what I'm talking about, and this is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I didn't know about the existence of this book up till the week before its release, and as soon as I saw it on Amazon, it was recommended to me on Amazon. It wasn't even recommended in on any of the book communities out there on YouTube or Instagram. It was a suggestion on freaking Amazon, and I was like, okay, I'm sold. This book has a school setting, it has magic, it has dragons, it has everything I love about fantasy. The way it is designed, look at this, you can see little dragons here and the black pages. Thank God the second book is coming out this year in November, so it's not a very long wait to continue the story. The next book that I read, I actually started reading it in tandem with my partner. This is episode 13. The book itself was okay. I think what made this book just okay is the fact that the week before reading this book, we watched a movie that has almost identical plot. It pretty much just follows a crew of people who are making this TV show about ghosts. It's a reality TV show. Their purpose is to go into these famous places that are supposedly haunted and prove that ghosts actually exist. And so they get into this grail of paranormal activity that is the Foundation House, where the scientists used to do lots of different experiments on people, and eventually everyone just disappeared. So they're coming in order to understand what was going on, if there is paranormal activity there, and to try to prove that it actually exists. This book is also written in a very interesting way. It is comprised of the article entries, the interview style dialogues, the audio recordings. It's a very fascinating style of writing that I've never encountered before, and I really enjoyed it. It was really easy to get through this book. So I gave it 3 stars. The next book that I jumped into was Touch of Darkness by Scarlett Sinclair, and this is the first book in the series of Hades and Persephone. There was not too much character development in this book, but more smut. There was not too much story either. I gave this book 3 stars, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna continue the series. The final book that I read in the month of May is Not Your Ex's Hexes, and this is the second book in the series of Supernatural Singles by April Asher. And I absolutely loved the first book. The first book is Not the Witch You Wed, and it pretty much tells the story of the oldest sister in the family of witches, and the second book is talking about the middle sister, so we are having the third book that's coming out that will be talking about the younger sister. The first book was absolutely magical. It was phenomenal. It was outstanding. I gave that book 5 stars. The romance was absolutely incredible. I loved reading about the characters. I loved getting to know them. The second book fell a little bit flat for me. As much as I loved the main character, the fact that she is obsessed with Jensen Ackles, and I'm obsessed with Jensen Ackles, like, come on. Like, I felt like that might be one of the best romance books that I read. Plus, it is happening in the magical world. But unfortunately, it didn't happen for me. The book didn't deliver. I gave it 3.5 stars. This is the first part of kind of my reset hobby and rest routine. And the second part of the reset routine is the book club. The book club is our priority. It's our project. So for the month of May, our book of the month was actually Fourth Wing, that we finished, and we haven't talked about it yet. We are actually getting together to discuss this book tomorrow. Since it is a priority in my life, rest and hobbies, I do tend to leave space and time for reading and for meeting with the girls and talking about books. This is how I love to reset for the next month, to be productive, to be happy, to feel easy and excited and balanced, and to keep my vibrations high. If you have any suggestions, any recommendations on what you personally do to keep your vibrations up, to have your specific reset routine that helps you achieve your goals and get where you want to be in your life, in your career, in your relationship, please feel free to share in the comments down below, because I'm sure that it's not just me, it's other people out there will be very happy to learn and to implement those strategies into their life as well. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you soon. Cheers!